Hello friends, and welcome to a brand new camera comparison between the iPhone 15 against the Samsung Galaxy S23. Right now we are recording at 4K at 30 frames per second. Tell me in the comment section below which one do you think has better colors and which one has a better audio.
As always, let's begin with some samples from their front cameras. In this first case, both devices are amazing. All of my face details have been preserved, with the iPhone being just a tad bit sharper. My skin color, on the other hand, is accurate on the S23, but the iPhone isn't far behind. In the next scene, the iPhone made a big comeback by preserving my skin color accurately, and my face is very sharp. The background is very saturated, but I prefer it over the slightly washed out colors of the S23. The latter on its own is great, but the iPhone is just astonishing. When it comes to their main cameras, both devices take outstanding pictures. The iPhone now leans more towards the natural side, while the Galaxy seems to be more vibrant. When we crop in, we can see that the 15 is sharper compared to the S23, which is smoother. This time, I prefer the iPhone. The Galaxy, on the other hand, is better when it comes to colors. As you can see in these samples, it is doing a better job with the buildings since they are brighter and more visible. The iPhone has muted colors, but the sky looks better, so there isn't a clear winner. In the next scene, the iPhone 15 nails it. First of all, the grass is brighter and more visible, even though the S23 is also good. What really sets them apart is the building in the background, since on the iPhone it looks great, while on the Galaxy its colors are washed out. In some samples, like here for example, the results are the opposite. The Galaxy now has warmer and more vibrant colors, while the iPhone is cooler. Speaking the truth, in real life the colors of the building are how they are shown on the iPhone. Overall, I can confidently say that both devices have exceptional main cameras. The Galaxy S23 for the most part has livelier colors, while the iPhone has more natural colors. Both look amazing, and it is just a matter of preference on which one you prefer. Both phones are also equipped with ultra-wide cameras, and just like before, we observe similar results, with the S23 having more saturated colors and the iPhone leans towards natural scenes. The iPhone, in some scenes like this one, is actually able to deliver better results, but the Galaxy is almost equally impressive. I appreciate how the Statue of Liberty on the iPhone has natural colors instead of being overly saturated like on the S23. On the other hand, the Galaxy continues to deliver vivid results, and at times they are truly exceptional, with the pictures ready to be posted on social media right away. In contrast, the iPhone may require a bit of editing to reach the same level. In this case, in contrast to their main cameras, we witness opposite results. The iPhone is now underexposed on the foreground while the buildings look natural. The Galaxy S23, on the other hand, looks amazing with excellent exposure of the grass, but the buildings look slightly washed out. As I mentioned earlier, both implementations are excellent, and while I personally prefer the S23, I must acknowledge the iPhone for delivering fantastic pictures, particularly for those who appreciate natural landscapes. The Samsung Galaxy S23 has also a dedicated 3x telephoto sensor, while the iPhone relies only on digital zoom. In this particular sample, however, I was surprised when I saw the results, since even the iPhone looks great. Sure, the tree, for example, is much sharper on the S23, but the building is almost just as sharp on the iPhone. I noticed that with the sky or with structures that are well defined, even the iPhone does an amazing job. With little things like people or trees, for example, the iPhone 15 isn't as good as the S23, and for this part the Galaxy takes the win, even though the iPhone is really good too. When it comes to portraits, the iPhone is still the device to pick. Firstly, the edge detection appears to be better. The color rendering on the iPhone is also more natural, avoiding the issue of looking too saturated as seen on the S23. The Galaxy, on its own, is good. It does display slightly higher saturation than necessary, but the picture overall is just fine. On the iPhone, my face looks better, and even my dress stands out more since it isn't as dark as on the S23. When it comes to portraits, to be honest, I prefer my skin color and clothes to look natural, with the option to edit the results later if needed. When recording with their main cameras, both are really good in terms of colors and stabilization. iPhones are known to offer amazing video quality, but the S23 is quite good too and almost at the level of the iPhone 15. The S23 can also record at 8K, but it isn't as refined as 4K, and the difference would be bigger in favor of the iPhone, especially with stabilization. With their ultra-wide cameras, on the other hand, the iPhone is simply better. First of all, it offers a wider field of view, which I like, and secondly, its colors are accurate to how they were in real life compared to the warmer colors of the S23. The latter, however, is really good on its own, it just can't compete with the iPhone 15. Moving to low light, where night mode is enabled for every picture, I have to say that in this first selfie, I prefer the picture taken with the S23. It not only retains most of the details on my face but also captures my hair with sharpness and focus. Particularly, the Galaxy allows me to notice all the individual hair stripes, whereas they are blurry in the picture taken with the iPhone. The iPhone 15 does manage to recover in this case, and it is actually better compared to the Galaxy, where my face isn't as sharp anymore. The results varied from scene to scene, and this is good because if only one phone would always win, it wouldn't be a camera comparison. In this specific case, when it comes to the main cameras, I have a preference for the iPhone. The grass appears sharper and even the lights are well balanced. While the Galaxy is very vivid, the overall picture is not as visually pleasing as it is on the iPhone. In the next scenario, we spot completely opposite results, with the S23 producing a brighter image and the iPhone preserving more of the night scenery. As we know, brighter doesn't always mean better, and this time I believe the iPhone is ahead. Just like in daylight, even at night we encountered cases where there were minimal differences, as seen here. If we examine the small details, we can observe that the lights are slightly better preserved on the S23. Nevertheless, both phones perform exceptionally well and produce great results. The Galaxy consistently appears brighter in most scenes, while the iPhone strives to maintain the night mood. Yet, in this instance I prefer the picture taken with the Galaxy, as the tree and its leaves are more visible and despite being brighter, it manages to retain the essence of the night scenery. When using the ultra-wide cameras at the same spot, we notice identical results compared to their main cameras. Firstly, this consistency between both phones is great. Secondly, I still have a preference for the brighter and more colorful picture produced by the Galaxy S23. Samsung has always been known for enhancing vibrancy in their pictures, while the iPhone is well known for its natural shots. In recent years, even iPhones have leaned towards adding more color in some samples, but Samsung remains dominant in this aspect, as evidenced by this picture here. Whether one prefers saturated pictures or natural ones is subjective, and there is nothing wrong with having a preference for either style, as both approaches are truly amazing. As I mentioned, there are occasions, like in this case, where I prefer the more vibrant colors of the Galaxy. But in some other cases, like this one, the iPhone presents more of the night panorama. This comparison has proven to be one of the most consistent ones we've conducted on the channel, and it's challenging to pick a clear winner. At 3x, there is a totally different story. Thanks to its dedicated telephoto sensor, the S23 is able to outperform the iPhone 15 in terms of details. The iPhone at this zoom range doesn't do that good of a job at night compared to the day. We have to praise Samsung for giving us a telephoto camera even with its cheapest flagship, while if you want a telephoto camera on an iPhone you have to spend a lot more money. The S23 is a clear winner when it comes to zoom. When it comes to portraits taken at night, I still preferred the iPhone. Although my face appears brighter on the Galaxy, it doesn't quite capture the essence I desire from portrait photography. In contrast, the iPhone delivers a more balanced picture that aligns better with my preferences. In the next scene, once again, the Galaxy made my face appear brighter. But when we crop in, we can see that half of my face is overexposed. On the other hand, the iPhone, while not as sharp, managed to maintain a more accurate representation of my skin color and exposure. So, friends, what do you think? Which one would you consider the winner? In my opinion, both the iPhone 15 and Galaxy S23 have their own strengths and weaknesses, making it really difficult to choose a definitive winner. Throughout the comparison, there were instances where I found the Galaxy more appealing, while in other cases, the iPhone took the lead. Please feel free to share your preference in the comments section below. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated.